Hi, I'm Natasha Elkington, your host for the GLF 2019 here in Bonn, where we'll be focusing on rights in the landscape. And this afternoon, I have the pleasure of hosting Hilary Tam. Thank you for joining us. And Hilary is the strategy director of the international change agency called Futerra, specialized in branding, strategy, behavior change, consumer campaigns in the field of sustainability. I hope I got that right.
Yes.
So we're talking about changing the narrative. Exactly. So how do we turn sustainability into a business opportunity?
Well, Futerra, that is everything we're all about.
Okay.
So our mission is around making sustainability so desirable that it becomes normal. And we have this approach that we like to call logic and magic. So we work across the logic of sustainability strategy as well as the magic of creative communications. And that's how we help some of the biggest brands and businesses and organizations around the world unlock the value of sustainability. So if you have amazing logic, a great sustainability strategy, but nobody connects with it or understands it, then that strategy is not really going to see the light of day. Whereas if you have amazing magic and communications, but nothing behind it, then you're really at the risk of greenwashing. So we're really kind of combining those two to really create change and impact. And yeah, I think it's a really exciting time for sustainability as well, just because the landscape's really shifting. Instead of just doing the right thing, it's also about doing the smart thing. And we're really kind of seeing that amongst clients that we work with, as well as organizations, and some of those conversations that were really happening around the world.
Great. I mean, could you give us some examples of how sustainability has become a business opportunity?
Yeah. So I think when we work with businesses, back in the day, it used to be around convincing leadership that we need to do sustainability. Now it's more of a question of how. And we're seeing a lot of the business case being built around, for example, younger generations. Those who are coming out into the job market, they're looking for more than just a job. Aside from pay, autonomy, all those really important things, that sense of purpose is also really important. So working for businesses that not only are having an impact on society, but also enable them personally to have a positive impact is really important. And that's just talking from a talent attraction and retention perspective. When it comes to consumers, it's the same thing. People aren't just buying things that are just products alone. They're buying things that reflect their values. Your shampoo almost becomes an extension of your hair, who you are, what you believe in. And so as we're seeing more and more of that, not only has it become an imperative for businesses to really not jump on the bandwagon, but to really think seriously about how they're offering this value of sustainability to both their consumers and also to attract talent. So yeah.
Oh, amazing. I mean, because that's the problem. It's how we consume things that's causing a lot of damage on this planet, and we have to shift how we consume, whatever all the products that we're using.
Exactly.
And I guess that's also changing mindsets. So how are you guys doing in that arena in terms of changing mindsets? Because I mean, we're going down to like cultural values, which is quite difficult to change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think you're exactly right. Some of the challenges that we're facing require us to completely rethink, redesign everything we know, everything we value, things that we believe in. And humans were creatures of habit. So we have this kind of whole, this whole thing about making it so desirable. It's really about talking to people and really understanding what is it that makes them tick. So we talk a lot about like functional, social, and emotional benefits. So when you're selling sustainability, at the end of the day, we're humans, we're consumers. We really need to find those benefits in the product or service that we're selling. So an emotional benefit is it makes me feel good. It makes me proud of the money that I'm spending on this product. A functional benefit, for example, I want to say like the Tesla. Not only is it an electric vehicle, it's super cool, ultra high performance. And then finally, the social benefit. we're at a time where sustainability is really cool. It's trendy to care about the environment. And I don't want to say trendy because I'm hoping that this isn't a fad and it'll stay, and I think it will. But the fact that more and more people are talking about it, we have amazing ambassadors and really vocal voices that are coming out to say, hey, listen, the way that we're living and consuming is not right. Here are some of the alternatives. And for once, they're actually alternatives where there isn't compromise. We're seeing that sustainability premium that initially was a thing where you'd have to pay more for more sustainable products. That's coming down. And we're just seeing technology really advance the options and all the choices that we have. So I think overall it's looking really good, and it's making our job in changing mindsets a little bit easier just because you're showing people something that's desirable. So it almost feels like a no-brainer.
Right, yeah. Amazing, fantastic. So in your experience, who plays the biggest part in shifting paradigms?
Yeah. So I, myself, a little bit biased because before Futerra, I used to work in entertainment, and before that, I was a Greenpeace campaigner.
Okay.
So I am a firm believer of people power. And I think, a lot of the narrative out there is that actually if we put the responsibility of people, then we're kind of letting businesses and governments off the hook, and they should be doing the heavy lifting.
Right.
And yes, 100%, businesses need to do their part, which is why when we work with clients, it's very important to find that balance. Yes, you are enabling and empowering consumers to do their part, but you inherently as a business, you need to make those changes as well and not just pass that buck.
Right.
But I do think consumer power is incredible. This whole idea of voting with your dollar, your euro, your pound. Every time you shop at a local business or support women in business, you're building a more inclusive and diverse economy. Every time you choose not to buy something, you're showing that actually material goods don't define who I am, and I can live a really great life just not buying and consuming more. So I think from that perspective, that grassroots level up and people really believing that they can bring about change, I think is so powerful. And it also kind of signals to business and government, hey, listen to us. And this is what we're seeing, for example, in the organic food movement.
Right.
The reason why supermarkets are stocking organic products isn't just because, it's
a trend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's because there's a market demand.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, solving the climate crisis from a consumption perspective, what are some of the opportunities that are out there?
Yeah. So I guess from climate change, it is really thinking about what you're consuming and the impact of that product or service. So we work with a lot of amazing certification bodies such as the FSC, the MSC, Fair Trade, that really ensure that the products that you're buying are sourced ethically, responsibly, sustainably. So I think really kind of leveraging the groundwork that some of these amazing organizations have done in terms of communicating that desire to consumers, but also the work they're doing on the ground is really important. But I also really think about just changing the mindset about consumption. Right now we're over-consuming.
Right.
As much as fast fashion companies are finding new materials or more sustainable materials or organic cotton, there just isn't enough to supply at the rate we're consuming. So I think from a consumer perspective, it is really what I was talking about, which was thinking about what you don't consume, and that mindset shift of instead of collecting things, collecting memories, and this whole idea around the experience economy. And also other concepts that are really popping up, such as the sharing economy. A great example is the power drill. Apparently, in its lifetime, the full use of it is just minutes. So imagine thinking about all the other things in your home that you don't really need but could really share with others.
See, I'm already thinking, right, yes.
And then the other thing is the circular economy, which is right now we are consuming, we're in an economy where it's very linear. So we take resources, we make things with them, and then we dispose of them or waste them.
Right.
What we really need to shift towards is the circular model, where things like the sharing economy definitely plays into it, but the idea of designing out waste and pollution, reuse, and maximizing that reuse over and over again and giving things a second life. all of that, I think, really plays into what we really need to do to achieve a more sustainable future, because a lot of the issues that are causing climate change has to do with resource and consumption. So I think if we can somehow kind of like hardwire all of that, habit and thinking and really break through, which is why I think it's a really daunting but also a very exciting opportunity to completely rethink and redesign everything.
Totally, I agree. And like, what in terms of like big corporations, you see like like sanitary pads or nappies, like Pampers, and these kind of waste scenarios that I'm like, how are we going to change the mindsets of these massive, corporations who, for them, it's just business as usual, and they're just thinking it's profits before people. But at the same time, we're still, we're clogging up the earth. Like, why are you not thinking of making biodegradable Pampers, for example, or using the cup? Like, how are we going to change the corporate mentality, because that's also a massive,
Yeah, so I think for businesses out there who are looking to tackle this challenge, it's really, and we work with a lot of clients on this, which is really kind of identifying their unique kind of theory of change. What is their unique contribution to this challenge? So really thinking about it from a business perspective, like what are some of those assets that we can really leverage? If we are a material sciences company and we're really trying to create the materials of the future that are biodegradable or won't cause harm to people or planet, maybe that's our offer. If we are a technology company, so I just came back from the US where Google has just launched their strategy for circularity and really seeing waste as a data problem, which is amazing because Google is great at solving data problems and organizing the world's information. So that's really their unique contribution. So I guess kind of in short what I'm saying is this isn't something that companies can do on their own. It's not something that people or governments can do on their own, which is why this whole idea of partnership and collaboration is going to be so key, because everyone kind of plays a piece of the puzzle and has something really valuable to offer. And I think it's hard because obviously businesses, there is always that kind of competitive advantage, but I forgot who said it, but the origin of the word competition isn't about killing each other and defeating each other. It's about kind of racing to that competing to that common goal. So I think really thinking about it in that way, and also leveraging, what are some of the collaborative advantages that we can move towards?
Yeah, because I mean the old mindset is all compete and it's everyone against each other, but you can still collaborate and make profits, and it's just changing the way we do things. We've done things in the past because it's obviously not worked.
Exactly.
That's why we're here.
And we only have one planet.
Exactly,
so.
and very limited in time to change things.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Well, it's been such a pleasure.
Yes,
thank you for joining me.
Thank you for all the great questions.
Thank you. Cheers. And I wish you a lovely next 2 days.
Thank you
in
so
Bonn.
much.
Thank you.